Most people have their P&L. Most people have their balance sheet. Almost nobody has a cash flow forecast. Most people don't even know what it is. Honestly, most people don't. And it's okay. Understand where your gap is. Now go and improve it. Go fix it. I don't bring these things up to bash people, but understand it's very important, especially in a capital-intensive business, to figure out where is your money going and where is it coming in. Or the other outcome, which is bad, is you just run out of cash. And I think a lot of people, new people in the industry, they get overextended on projects that are capital-intensive. Mm-hmm. If you're always moving from a strong cash position, you're not going to get caught.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Disruptors. Today we have Luke Winter with Hello Pro, and Luke flew in from Minneapolis, Minnesota to talk about how he went from a W-2 job to buying 200 houses a year to mastering just one marketing channel. Now guys, I'm on a mission to create 100 millionaires. The information on this show alone is enough to help you become a millionaire in the next 5 to 7 years. If you'll take consistent action, you will become one. And guys, we're, again, trying to create millionaires. The best way to help us accomplish our mission is to share our message. So please share this episode, share this podcast with your friends, with your colleagues. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So first question is, what was your life like right before you got into real estate?
So before I got into real estate, I was working probably a decade deep into oil and gas. And I'm a mechanical engineer by degree. Mm-hmm. And worked in a petrochemical facility, worked in one of the most profitable oil refineries in North America.
Okay.
And worked implementing technology, managing teams of engineers, doing business management, and really got a deep education in corporate structures, management processes, managing P&Ls, kind of the financial end of businesses, okay. Which I feel like is unique for an engineer.
Yes.
And so it was a great career, great jump out of college. I came out of college in the middle of the recession. And so I was just super fortunate to have a job and ended up sinking my teeth pretty deep into a career in oil and gas and in engineering.
Is that 01 recession, or are we talking about 08 recession?
I know the gray hair doesn't give good calibration, but that was 08, 09 era.
Okay. So, because I go back a little bit further. Because that's when I got in was I graduated college right after the whole .com bust and everything else. Okay. So you get into that. Generally speaking, when I hear people talk about oil and gas, it's fairly lucrative. The only thing about it is crazy hours. So why did you leave that industry?
Yeah, it was, I don't know if lucrative is the term I would put on it. Mm-hmm. Golden handcuffs is probably
another way to put it.
Yes, another way to put it. Yeah. It was a very stable career path. But for me, I wanted stories. I wanted trials and tribulations. Mm-hmm. I wanted to experience all that life had to offer. The ups, the downs. I wanted to go to my grave with some war stories.
You wanted the downs? I just want the ups.
That's where you learn the most. I
know, but if I can avoid it and just get the ups, I'd be good with that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So from my perspective, I looked at it like, I don't know if I want to be doing this for 20 more years. Mm-hmm. And I started to boil that down to, I don't know if I want to be doing this for 2 more years. I don't know if I want to be doing this for 2 more weeks. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where we were pretty stable financially. My wife was working, and I was like, I think I've got to pull the plug. I got to clear my head, and I need to kind of reset what I want out of a career path. Mm. And so I left cold turkey. I didn't have anything lined up. It was a little bit of a scary moment career-wise, identity-wise. There were really 2 different camps of people in that corporate space. There was one camp that was, you'll figure it out. Yeah. It'll be okay. Mm-hmm. And there was another camp that was, cool. Good for you. Good for you for taking the leap. Mm-hmm. Better to do it now than when you're like me, a couple years away from retirement.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that camp gave me a lot of encouragement. Mm-hmm. And it was good for the soul to kind of just reset.
Yeah. Okay. And I remember that specifically as well. I remember when I quit Intel, that was kind of the same message. Like, good thing you did it before you get all these responsibilities, right? You're young, you're single. I mean, you were married, but like for myself, when I was young and single, they're like, yeah, go out there, go make a mess, and you can always come back, right?
It doesn't get any easier
Yeah.
the longer you wait.
No, it does not. So, okay. So you take the plunge. Now you go straight to real estate at this point?
There was a solid month of kind of figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult to figure out, well, where do I put my energy? And funny enough, I was on a wholesalers distribution list.
Okay.
And I'd been doing some real estate on the side, right? Had some money to invest, did some wholesale deals, some flips, bought a small apartment building. So I was like familiar with the scene, but not in a full scale sense of some of the scale that guys have now with big, huge brands, massive teams. And so I was looking for deals. Got an email in my inbox from a wholesaler. We need help with operations. Here's the things that we need help with. We need help with KPIs. We need help with dashboards. We need help with SOPs and streamlining a lot of our processes. And I kind of thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is kind of too soon. Like, I just left. Do I really want to be jumping into another opportunity like this? Like, what would that look like? And but I knew I could do all of those things and really make a big impact on a business.
Mm-hmm.
I can't not talk to them. What else am I doing? You know?
And that was you being on their buyers list?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So golden nugget number one, if you're looking to recruit people, send your job postings out to your buyers list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point because I've been saying this over and over again. I want to say the last few weeks to multiple clients is like, you're hiring. Why would you not reach out to people that you already do business with, who you already like? So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's huge. Okay, so you get this email, speaks to your soul.
Yeah.
Then what?
So it took a while to kind of work through their interview process and really come up with an agreement that made sense for both of us. I knew I wasn't just looking for like another corporate Monday through Friday kind of kickback type role. Not that oil and gas was like kickback at all. But I knew I wanted something that was fast paced, had some significant upside. I knew I wanted to be a business owner. And so it took some time to understand the business, where the opportunities were, how I could really make an impact there. And then also what was in it for me. So beyond just earning income, I earned into equity position in the business as we hit certain milestones along the way. Mm-hmm. So as the business grew, like we really put our foot on the gas and scaled that up significantly.
So I want to say, like hats off to you for being bold. You asked for equity right off the bat?
Yeah, it was a non-negotiable.
That's awesome. Because it takes a boldness, right? Like, if I were to interview somebody, like I would appreciate their boldness, but I would also be like flabbergasted. Like, really? Like, you haven't even proven yourself yet? You're asking for equity? So that's big, right? So everyone is listening, you know, like if you're not an owner today, there's nothing that says you can't right off the bat ask for that. So let's explore that a little bit. Was that the first job interview? Like, hey, here's where I'm at. I'm not working at a company that I don't have an opportunity to earn into equity.
That was a front runner option to me versus starting my own company.
Right. And so those are the two options. Like those are the two tracks right now on the table. I can go either way.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Which is a powerful lever.
Yes.
Right. Versus like, well, I got this other job offer that's not offering me equity.
Correct. Yeah. And I knew the value that I could provide to the business. And so I think for people that are listening, understand if you're adding significant value, you can ask for equity, you can ask for options, you can ask for a package, whatever makes the most sense for you that's commensurate with what you're adding to the business.
Right.
And I think it was also a bet on myself too.
Yeah.
And that made me realize that my skill set is quite valuable. Everyone has a unique skill set that they bring to the table. There's a lot of small businesses out there that they need that help. They need you. And so don't be bashful about adding a ton of value and asking for some back in exchange.
So earn equity is like, it makes total sense. Like if you've been in business for a while, but not everyone is familiar with it. Normally it's like, hey, you want to do this? I want to do this. Let's just partner. Let's be 50-50 partners. Can you elaborate and explain what it means to earn in equity?
Sure. So everybody's going to want to have a little bit different arrangement with their entities. Real estate investors are going to have assets here and properties over there and cash here and deals over here, and marketing is done this way, and we wholesale out of this entity. But so we just kind of got a handle on like, where can I contribute and where can I put some energy behind. And so I can't remember the specific milestones, to be honest, but it was pretty clear that the business had to make a significant leap forward in order to realize that equity.
Yeah.
And there would be enough time that goes on. If we didn't hit those milestones, I probably wouldn't even have a job anymore.
Right.
And so we go, okay, well, that's a pretty safe bet. Either we're going to hit this great milestone where everyone's high-fiving, we earn into equity, or we're kind of back to where we're at and we start over again.
Yeah.
And so I think from the other business partners that I had, their perspective, I don't want to put words in their mouth, was it probably looked like a win-win or a limited downside bet.
Right. Either he performs or he doesn't. Either way, he either has earned equity through performance or he's out because he didn't perform.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So the downside is very little.
Correct.
The only downside is wasted time.
That's true.
More or less.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long were they in the game before you connected with them?
I think it was 3-ish years. And so they had a couple employees, a brand, some deal flow, dipping a toe on a bunch of different marketing channels.
Okay. So then what were the first things you did? Because you're saying you got a valuable skill set, right? So for everyone else that's listening, if you got so much skill set, the things you can ask for. What were the things that you were taking care of, like right out of the gates? I've got some big news, and you'll want to hear all of this because I'm going to give you the best bonus ever at the end of this video. You all know that I've been providing sales training for 6 years now, and I've had the opportunity to train hundreds of the best teams in the country and thousands of individuals as well. And they've all had wild success along the way, some of which you've even seen on this podcast. You also know Ian Ross, who has been coaching alongside me now for over 2 years. He's the biggest sales geek ever, and he's been training business owners and individual contributors ever since he started working here. He even runs the Close More Sales podcast. But we had a problem. There was a lot of confusion. What is it exactly that we sell here? Is it Disruptors training? Is it Steve Trang training? Or is it Close More Sales training? It's none of those. It is objection-proof selling. Ian runs objection-proof selling for business owners and individuals. I run objection-proof selling for teams where I coach their entire team. And to celebrate the rebrand, I want to give you something that I never would have thought been possible until recently. We've been training this AI bot for over a year now to score all of our sales calls internally. Every call we run, we have the bot review the call to Ian and mine exact standards for sales. We run every one of our team members' calls through the same exact AI bot. And now we're giving it to you for free. This bot will review your calls based on dozens and dozens of metrics. It will tell you what you did well, what you can do better, again, by the standards of the objection-proof selling formula. And if you want to use our bot for free, just head over to our website, objectionproof.ai. Again, objectionproof.ai. I want to emphasize here, you're getting access to our bot, which allows you to get better at sales for free so that you can make even more money now without having to spend another dollar. Go check it out now.
Yeah. So understanding where the constraints in the business are, most businesses like that are cash constrained. Second, they don't understand if you do have cash, where to go spend it. And so understanding your KPIs, I'm a dashboard nerd. Like I live in Power BI. I think making data-based decisions to either validate or to change your assumptions is incredibly important.
Right.
And so that was a skill set that I brought in from my days at the oil refinery. We were going gangbusters, building all sorts of dashboards to monitor performance of equipment, to doing calculations for us in the background. So here's the old adage, and this is applicable really to a lot of industries. I would have team members. I'd go, well, what are your KPIs? Like, for example, what's your mean time between failure for this equipment type or this manufacturer of an equipment type? I'd go, okay, let me go crunch the numbers. They'd come back 3 days later. They'd go, here you go. I go, okay, that's not very good. That seems subpar, right? And I go, yeah. I go, what are you going to do about it? They go, I don't know. I just spent all my time figuring out the number. And you go, okay, well, what if we just automate developing the number and we spend those 3 days on actually implementing solutions?
Right.
And so you have to try as best you can to automate all the metrics that you care about or might need to care about. That's true in real estate too. If you're hand crunching all of your numbers every month and you're operating at scale, it's going to be difficult to actually have the time to go make the changes you need to make. So automate that as much as you can and have that at your fingertips at all times, like on TVs, like a dedicated monitor in front of you all the time. But if it's hand calculating your ROI by month, by marketing channel, by sales rep, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
You're just going to be behind. It's going to take you longer to implement those solutions.
Okay.
So that was a big component of it, is just taking a lot of those processes and things that I thought were obvious to a small business. And look, a lot of small businesses, they're just getting off the ground, right? They're just getting revenue, getting a few things dialed in, figuring their way out. So I'm not faulting it whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, it's for a lot of us, in wholesaling for sure, is we don't know what it's supposed to be like. We only know what we hated when we worked in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So there's like this part of like, I don't know what I need to do, but I also know what I don't like. And I don't want that. And so like, it's tough when you're trying to execute and implement it because you're resistant to it. And you think everyone that works for you thinks like you. And you think they're not going to want that kind of structure. So it makes total sense when you said like the value you brought was the corporate experience, because what we see, we're in one mastermind together and I'm in multiple masterminds. Like you look over and over again, top wholesalers in the country run their business like a business.
Absolutely.
They've got dashboards, they've got KPIs, they've got cash flow projections, they've got cash conversion cycle, right? Every metric that is vital to the business is automated on a screen. Everybody can see it.
Yes. They're not spending weeks and weeks digging up all of these metrics every month to go say, what do we go do next? It's at their fingertips all the time.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly important. It's also difficult. I'm not going to run around and say like, well, just go do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's difficult to do it and to understand the data right, because it's one thing to have the number and it's another thing to understand what the number's telling you.
Yeah. So I know for myself, there's a lot of numbers we track, which is like, we get everyone's ask every once in a while, why are we tracking this number? It's like, day-to-day basis, we don't care about these numbers. But when this number's off, now we care about these particular numbers, right? So we got one spreadsheet for the main numbers, and then other spreadsheets for all the other numbers we don't care about until something's broken.
Yes.
Then we care about those numbers.
Yep.
So talk to me about how the numbers tell a story. What does that mean?
Yeah. So to your point, you should have a dashboard that essentially behaves like your car. So you got a speedometer that basically says, this is what we're doing speed-wise. Okay, good, bad, okay. You're going to want a red light that goes off if there's something that's really wrong, like your oil is low. Okay, my check engine light's going to come on when that happens.
Yeah.
I think you're a Tesla guy, right? So you probably don't have that problem, but...
I don't have that problem, but I did have like, I'm driving home from a doctor's appointment with my daughter, and I get a notification like, your pressure's low. I was like, that's weird, right? It's 18. I was like, that's odd. And then it was 15 and 12. And by the time I pulled into my driveway, it was 1.
Yeah.
But it was pretty obnoxious. Could not see that signal that, hey, there's a problem with your tire.
And that's the perfect example. You're going to want to know, can I make it home?
Yeah.
And if you're looking at a KPI or your cash flow forecast, you're going to want to know, how far can I make it?
Right.
Like, that's really important.
What's the runway?
Yes. Am I going to have to pull over and stop in 4 weeks? Or am I good to go drive another 60 miles. In your case, it probably wasn't 60 miles, right?
No.
But you could see that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what a good dashboard or set of KPIs should be delivering to your business. You go, good or bad? Am I going to make it home or am I not? Am I going to make it 100 miles or am I not? And you need the bells and whistles to alert you to the indications of, okay, I'm going to be way off track here. If not, okay, then everything's good. And what are those 3, 4, 5 things, probably max, that you're looking at on a daily basis? And for most guys, it's lead flow, deal flow, revenue, that type of stuff.
So generally speaking, because I know like you've done this for yourself, but you've also consulted a lot of other businesses. What are like the KPIs that must be on the dashboard on a daily basis?
Okay, so daily, you need to look at your lead flow. So how many new leads do you have? How many new deals do you have? Ideally, probably on a weekly basis. If you're operating at scale, probably a weekly basis. You're looking at revenue. Projected. I like projected revenue and actual revenue, so that you can, again, calibrate. Am I assuming that I'm going to get revenue here and it didn't happen, or am I under projecting and I'm over delivering when things actually close? That's your kind of quick calibration. But you need to know when you're putting stuff into your pipeline, monetarily, what is that going to deliver for my business? If you're waiting until closing, you're behind the times. It's basically a lagging indicator.
Yeah.
So that's important. And then I would maybe consider breaking it down by role. So like for a sales team, how many appointments are you doing in that day or for that week, right? Everyone's operating at a different scale. So if you got a whole bunch of people, then you're going to want to look at it on a more granular basis.
Right.
But if you're running the appointments, you don't need a dashboard to tell you you've got 2 appointments today. You know that.
Right. So you came in to help execute this first part. What else were you tasked with doing as talking about earning equity?
Yeah. So the biggest thing was grow the business.
Okay.
Grow it. And I've got a fair amount of experience leading teams, recruiting, interviewing, onboarding.
Prior, you had all this experience.
Correct.
As an engineer,
and
an oil company,
correct.
You had all this experience, plus the financials at a big company. How did you get all this experience at a big company?
They threw us into the middle of everything, which is amazing. It's an amazing experience. I moved locations within the company. So I was in the Chicago area for a little while, spent about 4 years there, and then moved to Minneapolis. And when I moved to Minneapolis, I think it was like 25 or 26, and they handed me a $100 million project portfolio, like day one.
Okay.
Like, welcome. We heard you're like, good. Here's your project portfolio. Meet with these people to talk about it. But it's already going. Like, these people are trusting me with $100 million? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow. And I think it is an example of trust the training. They knew they did a good job educating us on economics, economic decision making. So the company was a subsidiary of Koch Industries, KOCH, so the Koch brothers. And if you look into them at all, they invest a lot into teaching their people market-based management. And from new employee orientation all the way through management training. If you're going to interview somebody, you need to have specific training in order to do that. It goes deep into the methodology of here's how we interview, why we do it this way. And so from my side, I didn't really realize it at the time. I thought I was just doing my job, but like these are skill sets that are really valuable for the rest of my life in business.
100%. Okay. So you had to grow the business. What were some of the early challenges that you experienced in growing the business?
All of them. I mean, we had all sorts of challenges. People problems, money problems, projects piling up, marketing channels that didn't work right.
Like, what was a challenge that you lost a lot of sleep over?
I'm a relatively calm, even-keeled person. For me, my biggest fear was I missed something. I did something wrong, that my plan wasn't going to work right. you're making continual bets. I shouldn't flip this. I should wholesale this. Wholesale this, not flip it. I should wholetail it versus flip it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all things that were daily decisions for me.
Yeah.
Here's our plan. Here's how many people we need. Here's how we're going to staff up. A good business strategy overall, right? And so my biggest fear was like, is this going to work?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be successful? It wasn't that we'd run out of money tomorrow. It wasn't that we're going to lose a pile of money on any one particular project. But big picture, is this going to be a success?
Did you pick the right strategy?
Correct.
Okay.
People-wise, money-wise, how we're funding projects, our scoping decisions.
Who was helping you learn, or who was helping you figure out how to make the right decisions? Yeah,
so there were two partners in the business, and they had a fair amount of real estate investing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite at the scale that we had eventually get to. We were all kind of learning together at scale.
Mm-hmm.
But the general nuts and bolts of it, they provided some of that. And then honestly, we spent a lot of time in masterminds and communities to keep a pulse on the latest trends.
Yeah. So was there any particular, so you were worried, you're also detail oriented, that's why you worry. Were there any catastrophic decisions you made? You're like, wow, that was a really dumb choice, or that was a really bad strategy?
I think, thankfully, no.
Mm-hmm.
So from the refining space, we were taught to really consider the significant downside.
Mm-hmm.
Like true catastrophic risk in oil refining is stuff goes boom and you kill people. Our facility had to send flyers out to tens of thousands of people in the community because we had enough stuff to go boom to impact their houses. And so you really have to take great care of the significant downside and really understand when you're making a bet that has catastrophic risk and essentially avoid those at all costs.
Yeah.
In that space, it's unacceptable to not send people home the way that they showed up.
Yeah.
And I would consider real estate investing to be a little less grave. But I would say equally important, understand your significant downside risks.
Mm-hmm.
So never lose a boatload of money on it.
Yeah.
Never overextend your leverage. Never overextend on a marketing channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unacceptable because it's a catastrophic risk for your financial means and your business.
So let's talk about that. We had Paul Sparks and I, we were partners in the Whale Club. And one of the things that we said that was never acceptable, which we learned from an analytical guy, which I think a lot of similarities between you and our mentor, Dan. We never make decisions where the outcome could be game over, right? We're like, all right, go back to square one. No matter what decision you make, if this is a decision that can lead us back to square one, we do not go this direction. So then for you, what were some things, because like obviously, protecting against the downside, against catastrophic errors, like what are some of the catastrophic errors that you were concerned about that you still see people do all the time in our space?
Taking on too many flip projects. And I'll go deeper why that can be challenging. So one of the things that I'm a big advocate for that I think almost everybody is missing is a good cash flow forecast. Most people have their P&L. Most people have their balance sheet. Almost nobody has a cash flow forecast. Most people don't even know what it is. Honestly, most people don't.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. I'm in the same rooms.
And it's okay. Like, understand where your gap is. Now go and improve it. Go fix it. Yeah, go fix it. And I don't bring these things up to bash people, but understand it's very important, especially in a capital-intensive business, to figure out where is your money going and where is it coming in. So there's two avenues from having either a good or bad cash flow forecast. One avenue is you actually know what you're doing business-wise, and you're not measuring your cash flow forecast, and you're sub-investing. You're under-efficient in your investing. So You get a whole big wave of cash, projects sell off, and you go, oh, wow, what do I do with this? You didn't have a plan for it. You didn't have more projects to backfill it. You don't have new marketing channels lined up. You don't have more people stacked up to handle the new leads. Or the other outcome, which is bad, is you just run out of money. You run out of cash. And I think a lot of people, new people in the industry, they get overextended on projects that are capital intensive. And you can jump into why, maybe bad underwriting, maybe they don't understand rehab costs, bad ARV, that type of stuff. But if you're always moving from a strong cash position, you're not going to get caught.
Yeah. How can someone get good at cash flow forecasting?
If you're not doing it now and you don't know what it is, probably outsource it. So find somebody who knows what it is and knows how to do it. But in general, you need to be looking at cash in and cash out, probably on a monthly basis to start. You can get more granular from there, but that's not necessarily profit. It's just money that you have tied into projects, tied into different things.
Yeah.
So, and that's deposits in, deposits out, and just update it on a reoccurring basis. So you're going to need to understand what deals are in your pipeline, how much money you're going to have to put into them, and when does that cash need to go in, because it's not always all at once.
Right.
And that's another potential pitfall too of getting over leveraged on flip projects is you think you have all of the cash, and you have a scope change, $25,000 more, and you go, well, where is that coming from? My lender's already maxed out, my cash is maxed out, and I've got a project that's disassembled that needs to get put back together. And so you need to understand when is that money going in? It's not always all up front.
Yeah. This is like, we talk about it multiple times throughout the show in other episodes, which is like the greatest threat is, or businesses that go out of business, it's not because of lack of opportunity. It's not because of starvation, from indigestion, taking on too much. And one thing that I said way too many times in my career, and I've heard many friends say over and over again, is I know I'm making a lot of money. Where is it? And then you find out, I got $45,000 out in earnest money alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just earnest money. And then it's like, oh, like I'm into this much on this rehab, into this much on that rehab. And they're all going to profit, but you don't have that money in your bank. I remember, I can't remember where I heard this story, but it was someone that was successful, and the bank called their loan due. And he's like, I've been banking with you guys forever. I've always paid on time. I'm more profitable now than I've ever been before. Why are you calling my loan? And they said, we're looking at your financials, and you're going to be out of cash in like 3 months. And we don't want to be the one that you don't pay. And he was like, I'm not cash flowing. I'm making more money than I've ever made. But he took his eye off the ball that his cash reserves or his cash balances were getting depleted.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're talking about here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's a phrase I think about often too. Most real estate guys are aggressive entrepreneurs. They want to capture as much margin everywhere as possible.
Dominate.
Yes.
Yes.
But here's a phrase I think about often. Nobody ever went broke taking a profit.
Yeah.
And it is okay to stop somewhere along the value chain and just take your cards off the table.
Yeah.
Whether that's wholetail, wholesale, doing a listing for somebody, like it's okay.
Yeah.
You're making money. You're getting revenue through the door, and that's acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough because we all want to just exert our will and crush, right? Dominate, gain massive market share. But you're exposing yourself to some risk versus what you said. No one's ever gone broke taking a profit.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a super simple phrase, and it completely oversimplifies a lot of aspects of business, but it's just one of those ones that sticks with you for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's simple, it's concise, and it's clear. Okay, so that was one thing you were responsible for. What were some other or things that you were concerned about? What were other things that, and maybe it just never happened because you're so cautious, but what are some other things you've seen in other businesses? Again, you've seen a lot of businesses. Catastrophic mistakes that someone is watching can learn to avoid prevent in the future?
I mean, the big things that are going to take you out, is not tapping into your network, and just taking wild gambles on, we'll just say, large expenses. And it could be people, it could be marketing channels, or it could be projects.
Yeah.
I see a lot of guys that want to jump into commercial real estate from single family, or be a syndicator, or hard money lenders. And I think it's Tim Harridge. Keep your main thing the main thing. He does it with a good Southern accent.
Yeah, he does.
I see people navigate out, then navigate back into, and it wasn't successful if they're navigating back into flipping and wholesaling. And for the most part, we've been pretty fortunate in this industry.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories. What's the word I'm looking for? Unverified, but like a lot of scary, bad syndication news. Guys have done syndications that a lot of people were left holding the bag.
Yeah.
That's the one probably for me is the scariest. Of all those,
yeah,
syndications.
I see the headlines of guys leaving the country. I'm in one apartment syndication. They had a capital call, which is not fun. Another one that seems to be going pretty smooth, but all things considered, those are probably good outcomes. Is you go, we can survive to fight another day. But yeah,
educate me on capital calls, because I hear about this, but I'm not of that world. Can you educate me? What does it mean when we say like there's a capital call?
Yeah, so there's essentially a forecasted or current deficit in the fund. And so the fund, the apartment fund that I'm in, they own multiple assets. It's a pretty large fund, and it's supposed to diversify your risk. And there's some good assets in there and some bad assets, but with the interest rates really changing significantly, we didn't have in that fund a lot of protection. And this isn't a fund that I organized. This is just a fund I had invested in. Actually, a pretty big name in the industry. And so when there's a shortfall, there's a couple options. You can either try and raise capital from your current investors. You can bring in new investors, or you can just close it. And if you close the whole fund down, I think some of the projections were that we would lose 50% of what we had initially contributed. So you still get something back, but that's a pretty big hit for what's supposed to be a secure investment with some tax benefits. It should be like watching paint dry. Set it and forget it for 7 years, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And I think the capital call was 30% of the initial contribution, so substantial. And it gave us enough runway in the fund to sell off the bad assets and buy interest rate locks or protection. This is not my area of expertise, but just understanding that space and my investment, that's kind of the briefing that how I understand it.
What were some of the biggest lessons you learned, right? Coming into a company that was already existing, getting to 200 transactions a year. What were some of the biggest lessons you learned?
For me, the biggest thing was keep doubling down if it's working. And as you're scaling, keep going. If you have your foot on the gas and it seems like the car is all held together and you're moving in the right direction, keep going. We never set out with a specific milestone of here's how many deals we want to do. We think, hey, this is what we think is achievable. Here's the resources we think we need to do that. But it takes some bets, and it takes some foresight to say things are going well. Going back to the interviewing days, the best prediction of future result is past results.
Yeah.
And so if your past results are going good, keep going and keep doubling down. If you're good at recruiting, if you're good at training acquisition managers, keep doing that. If you have a good pipeline, keep going, keep growing. So that for me expanded my horizons really beyond what I thought our full potential was. I mean, we blew past what I thought was achievable.
Yeah. Okay. What are other big lessons?
I also had to do a lot of self-reflecting
Mhm.
in my leadership capabilities, how I approach the business, and how I approach different personality types. I'm a pretty traditional integrator, COO kind of type. Uh, it, it is my natural state. I feel like I can do sales quite well, though, and really enjoy talking to people and doing sales. But it's a little bit more taxing on me than maybe for somebody else like yourself. And so when I would approach people who are 1,000% salespeople and they are in their happy seat
Mhm.
with challenges in the way that I think about them, the way that they hear it is very different.
Mhm.
And so, for me, I had to take a little bit of a step back and go, okay, they're really good for a reason. I'm good for a reason, but for some reason, we're not seeing eye to eye
Yeah.
on this topic. And I know we both want to do good, but there's friction.
Mhm.
And so working with really high quality salespeople, sales professionals, this was throughout our organization, just a lot of different personality types. I just step back and really understand some of the PI assessment stuff, how to alter my communication styles, how many times to communicate to people. Hey, changes are happening. Here's how it's going to impact you. How to roll out changes. So I feel like I matured quite a bit as a leader throughout that whole process.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always easy
Mhm.
because you're frustrated and you think everyone else is the problem, and there's only one person.
It is. There's always one consistent piece. So we haven't talked about it, so I'm going to guess that we're talking about predictive index. Sounds like you're familiar with this.
Yeah,
I'm going to guess strategist.
close.
Close?
I'm a captain.
You're a captain.
I will gladly pick stuff up and just do it.
Got it.
So low tolerance for just waiting around.
Right. All right. So I was off on the D. More social, less detailed than I suspected. So, but great shape. Not quite right.
Yeah.
All right. What's one more major lesson that you learned? Again, scaling to 200 houses.
For me, it was incredibly rewarding, and that the hard work that it takes to build the right team. I maybe want to give people a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. It's incredibly rewarding. When everything is humming along and going well, there's no better feeling.
Yeah.
I'm still working 7 days a week, 10, 12-hour days, but that feeling and that emotion is amazing.
Yeah, it's a high.
It's phenomenal. And crushing in business, everyone's happy, they're winning, everyone's succeeding, you're making sellers happy, you're getting 5-star reviews, it is so worth it. So
Yeah.
I know it's not all rainbows and sunshine out there in the industry right now, but as a ray of hope, like when you hit those moments, like soak it in. It is phenomenal. And for me, it's provided a lot of just optimism in life and business, just realizing that, okay, the W-2 space, corporate space wasn't for me. I have changed significantly in my level of happiness and gratitude for what life has given me by participating in some of those moments.
Yeah. And I'm totally with you. I mean, there are days, when those days happen and like everything is just on point, you feel like you're in a state of flow, you're on fire. There's no better feeling than everything working like it was supposed to be working. Yeah.
It is hard to describe unless you've put in the hours and days and weeks and months and years of work to hit those small windows in time where everything is humming along.
Yeah.
It's more the exception than it is the rule, right?
Yeah.
It's a small window in time, but man, it is so worth it.
Right.
It is so worth it. So for me, I've got a startup business. Those windows are fleeting right now, but I know that feeling, and I know we will get there where we've got the ace team, and it is that flow state. Startup mode is different. Startup mode is grind,
Hustle season.
less thank yous, less team members. But man, those moments are freaking worth it.
Yeah. And then somewhere along the way, you guys added TV to your marketing. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, TV played a huge role in that business's success. I think it's understated in a lot of people's businesses how big of an impact it can have. And so we pushed the envelope. I think our marketing budget overall was into the 7 figures annually. And so, you got to be a good steward of that spend.
Oh, yeah.
And know that you're spending it in the right spots. But yeah, TV was a big component of it. And knowing what I know now, could it have even been better? Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, going back to a moment you said ago, like lesson number 1, double down. So maybe you would have wished you would have doubled down a little bit more on TV.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. And then, we've been talking about your this journey, right? From W-2 job to buying 200 houses a year, to mastering one marketing channel. So at some point, this chapter had to close.
Correct.
So talk to me about the challenges, because I went through one 3 years now. Looking back, I can't believe it's been that long. Where I had to go through that situation where, like, hey, you've got one vision, I got a different vision. Our visions are no longer aligned. How about you do this? I'll do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So and this kind of goes back to having different personality types and styles. Is the partners that I had in that business, different personality styles, different visions for what was next. 200 deals a year is a huge milestone. Yeah. And
your top, I don't know, is that top 1%? Like it's significant.
Yeah.
Right?
It's up there.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily feel that big when you're in like a mastermind. It's still pretty good. Like you're still at the top.
Yeah.
But then you remember, like, is everyone, all those people not in the mastermind? Like you're easily top 1%.
Yeah. We were dialed in.
Yeah.
We were dialed in. And it was cool.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what's next, is it 300 deals? Is it 400? Do we get into different arms of the real estate business? Brokerage, lending, insurance. It was difficult to get alignment on what's next and the resources to deploy it. Not necessarily just money, but who's going to staff it? How are we going to invest in it, and how are we going to structure it? Yeah. And those are difficult conversations. We're kind of, starting with a blank sheet of paper a lot of times and going, well, what could we do next? And one of the things that we saw some common ground on was, well, for the right price, like I think we could sell the business. Everybody's in real estate's a deal junkie, so of course there's a price. Like, so it was a little bit of that, where it was like, okay, we could toy with this idea a little bit. And I think the other business partners that I had wanted maybe more of a lifestyle business. Again, I don't want to put words into their mouth, but maybe a little bit different direction. I'm a big growth guy. I want to keep growing the business, keep growing revenue, and keep growing the team. And we had a lot of good talent around us. And so it kind of came to a point where it was like, hey, I think we have pretty different visions here. What would it look like if we weren't working together? And reached an agreement where the other business partners that I had bought me out of the business. And here we are.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me only because, like, selling your wholesaling business is like one of those, like, can it be done? Right. You were able to actually exit a wholesaling business.
Yes.
Not a lot of people can. They try. They want to.
It's difficult. We were talking to the buyers. Yeah. And trying to explain to somebody who's not in the industry just how the money flows. I mean, you could just see their minds melt and end the Zoom, and you go, I'm never going to talk to this guy again.
Yeah.
But for somebody who understands the industry and honestly, the power of a brand and a quality marketing plan and momentum, there is real real value there. And value that's realized not just amongst partners, but amongst a broader marketplace. And so yeah, there's real tangible value there. Yeah, I'm one of the rare that has made that transaction a reality.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So then now we're talking about your next venture. So you decide this chapter is closed. Did you immediately figure out what you're doing next? I took like another 1 month hiatus.
Yeah, I took a little bit of a hiatus and quickly realized that Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, there's nobody to golf with. All my buddies are still working. They've got meetings. They've got momentum in their business. And I was like, all right, yeah, I thought retirement would be quite boring. And this is probably as close to retirement as I ever want to get. And so started to shape what the idea could look like to bring TV marketing in a much different way to real estate investors.
Yeah.
And so met with a lot of advisors, some family friends who have been in the media space for decades, and started to kind of shape the idea and ping pong it. I'm not one to just like, here's the idea, let's go. Like, I'm a planner. I like to have good forecast in place and really understand the market dynamics and know that I'm contributing to people when I ask them to pay me for my services. I don't take that exchange lightly whatsoever.
So how quickly, because obviously you couldn't stay retired, how long was that gap? Being like closing one chapter, opening another?
I would say 3 months, or so by the time things started to take shape. I was going full bore in the flipping and wholesaling business. And, when you sell a business, if you're selling to a third party, somebody who's coming in cold, there's a long transition period. So mentally, I was kind of preparing myself for a long transition period. But when you're selling to somebody who really understands the business, has already operated it and been in it, it's a pretty quick transition.
Yeah.
And so took my family to Florida to kind of reboot for a couple weeks. And it was just, let's let things settle down here because it was easily 6-7 days a week, 12 hour days.
Yeah.
I mean, Monday through Friday is in the office, grind time, leads, opportunities, deal flow. Then the weekends is when you're negotiating contracts to sell the houses, because that's when all the retail buyer agents are out on the streets submitting offers, finding all the problems in your vacant houses that you have. Like, wow, this one's flooded. This one has a problem. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm driving over here to fix this issue. So for me, there was just hey, let's just let the noise settle down real quick and get in the right mindset.
A little bit of a decompressing, detoxing kind of deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Why TV? Like, of all the different things you could have done, why TV?
Yeah. For me, number one, I just love being a part of the real estate community, and I want to contribute at a high level to people's businesses.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Right. We're in boardroom.
Yep.
Right. And I could see you raising your hand. And you're like, well, look at this, look at that. Have you thought about this? Like you're obviously a deal junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to stay plugged into the real estate community.
Absolutely. And for me, I want to be able to contribute in a large way. I don't necessarily like the idea of quick one hits. I want to be engaged in people's businesses and people's successes for the long term.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew enough about TV advertising to make a big impact on people's businesses, and really started to shape that idea after I left the flipping and wholesaling business with some advisors that I have in what does mainstream TV media buying look like for the masses? What does this normally look like? Because I had one little isolated perspective, and then my eyes were kind of open to like, well, there's a whole other world out there on how this typically operates. And I was like, I think this is the avenue where I can make a huge splash on the real estate industry.
Yeah.
And it's also a big impact on people's businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Strong ROI. There's a lot of brand authority that comes with doing TV ads. And it's just fun. I love getting text messages that somebody just closed another deal from advertising that I helped put together, that I help walk them through the process of getting onto TV. And that's incredibly rewarding for me. Like that's equally rewarding as any of the financial benefits, if that's not way greater. It's just fun to me to know that I'm helping people realize their dreams and their goals.
Yeah. So, someone watching that's considering TV, why TV? I mean, there's PPC, there's direct mail, PBL, cold calling, texting, so on. Why TV?
TV has almost an unmatched ability to drive people directly to your business. And we can go into the reasons why, or why I think why that's the case. But it drives people to you that want to engage in your business, which is a hard sell. I want to buy your house for cash. It's difficult. And they're calling you to engage in that. Yesteryears, we were calling people to ask them, do they want to sell their house and do you want to take a discount on it? And we're flipping the script on that. And we're having people call you to say, I'd like you to buy my house for cash. Right. It's completely different. The motivation for people who haven't done TV ads and we bring them onto TV, they're like, these leads are amazing. Like, wow, I really like these leads. They're just way easier to work. You get better revenue out of them, and the people aren't mad about you cold calling them, cold texting them. Take me off your list. Like, quit filling up my inbox. Nobody's mad about seeing a TV ad. Like, it's just assumed it's part of watching TV. Right. So it's really low friction to get your message out there, and it delivers really strong ROI, and is very scalable. That's another huge component of it too. Is once you find it, let's go back to double down. Is you can continue to double down and double down and double down on TV without a whole lot of operational headaches. It is incredibly difficult to double down on cold calling. Yeah. To pull a whole new list, right? Maybe you're crushing it in direct mail on your foreclosures, your tax delinquent lists. But then you're pulling another new list and looking for new motivations. You're kind of reaching uncharted territory. We can continue to double down on TV until your brain explodes. Right. Like the scale and reach of TV is almost unfathomable.
Yeah. Okay. So then if I'm interested in TV, why should I talk to Hello Pro or you?
Yeah. So we are doing things very different. We are making better ad creatives. So we have a framework, but we are working with each individual business to understand what's your unique value prop. What's your story? There's a guy at Boardroom who I've been talking to. He's got a really cool story. His family has roots in his local community for 80 years. His last name is recognizable for anybody who's been in the community for a long time. That's who's selling their houses for cash generally too. I was like, I love this. I love your family story. At a flower shop in town. So everybody knows the last name in the flower shop. Yeah. It's just a good quality family run business locally. Yeah, the community's grown a lot, but to me, being able to tell that story is amazing. Yeah. So we're not using canned scripts, and we're really going deep on, well, what's your story? What's your value proposition? And we're throwing things in there like sell and stay programs and promotions that are maybe extra hooks for people. So unique value propositions where people can leverage their skill set and get their elbows out with their competition, make it harder for the competition to beat them. So that's the one thing that's important. So that's the ad creative. The other side too, that is very unique for us is we're leveraging data to measure effectiveness of the TV ads, which is really difficult to do in broadcast TV. And that's mostly where we air ads. Very difficult to do. And that was where I saw a huge opportunity in this space. After meeting with a lot of people and doing a lot of homework in the industry, what are the Pepsis of the world
Mm-hmm.
What tools do they have? How do they know TV works? How do they decide what day to advertise on? Like, I guarantee you they're not guessing. Like, what are they doing? And so I've developed a way where we can bring that down to the average investor. The guy that's spending a few $1,000s a month gets the same tools, the same technology that the big dogs are using. And for me, it's important to have that data and transparency into what we're doing and how we're going to continue to do better so that our clients have confidence in, hey, I know what I'm doing. Here's our proof. And here's how we're iterating, and here's how we're making continual change and continuous improvement. Because if you're not changing, you're dying.
Right.
Like, if you're not evolving, you're dying.
Does this involve like demographics, or is it much deeper than that?
It is much, much deeper than that.
Okay.
So we'll just talk about some examples.
Yeah.
And this is getting like way into the depths of it. I have some clients that are like, here's the budget, do your thing. I have other clients that like want to get deep into the weeds, and they're curious about what moves we're going to make next and why it's happening and what are we seeing. So this might not be everybody's cup of tea. That's what I'm getting at. But
I mean, this is the stuff I live for.
Yeah.
I love the strategy. I love the tactics.
Let's
talk the tactics and strategies.
So we'll dig in for a second here. So what's important to monitor is responses or engagement from an ad. The type of advertising that we do is called direct response marketing. TV, it's generally easier to monitor that response. Radio gets a little bit harder. Billboard is like darn near impossible. We will do those advertising medias.
Yeah.
But generally we are pushing TV like way hard before we even think about those strategies. So when we get into TV, we're looking at a lot of detail around what is driving that response. And so, we do have some proprietary walls that we won't try and peek over. But, from a high level, we can look at things like what day of the week is performing better, what station's performing better, what ad creative is performing better, and as darn close to real time as you can get in kind of this broadcast TV archaic industry.
Yeah.
Everybody wants like the Google Ads feedback, like click by click, like minute by minute. TV's like, we are so far away from that.
Yeah.
They're like, are you using AI? I'm like, I'm trying to get as close as I can to that. But even getting this level of detail for your mom and pop level business, not the Pepsis of the world who are spending millions monthly, is a huge stride forward. And so we're able to optimize our ad spend within those buckets. We can optimize within the day parts. We can optimize within the programming. We can optimize within the stations. We can optimize for different ad creatives.
Yeah.
And we get real feedback, like it's tangible numbers to understand what do we go do next? What's working and what's not working?
This might be a dumb question, but why is it so archaic to get that data? Like, we know when the ads are being run. In theory, we know when the ads are being run. And then we know when they're calling numbers. And we know when they're landing on the website.
I would love to know like the real answer for that. From my perspective, the industry is semi-fragmented. So Fox, ABC, all the local affiliates, they're all kind of working in like different systems, different software, solutions. Some have great sales reps. Some don't have great sales reps. Some get back to you right away. Some don't. So from my perspective, it is a old industry that is fragmented, which means it's difficult to implement big changes. It lends itself to be disrupted.
Yeah. If we're talking about this.
It's ripe for massive change then, because if the industry doesn't change itself, something else will come in its place and change it. But in general, like broadcast TV, there's a few big conglomerates that might own a bunch of the stations, but there's still smaller operators out there that might own a small little station.
Yeah. So for me, as I'm listening to all this, and I can't help myself.
Yeah.
right? Like I'm thinking like, why can't we just have something that's constantly watching the TV, right? Because with Gemini Pro, like it can just observe reality now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so with Gemini Pro, you can just watch TV the whole day with just you can actually just have it on your computer, right? You could just have 3 laptops or 3 computers watching TV all day and it's reporting. It's like, hey, this ad showed up at this time.
Yeah.
And just report that in real-time feedback.
Yeah. Some of those tools are reserved for the big dogs.
Yeah.
So
well, I get that, but
it's expensive. So some of
don't think it's that expensive. I think you and I could probably like crack that in like a month.
I would love to. I have spent a long time getting our modeling built out.
Yeah.
And like it crossed my mind. I was like, well, if I crack this code, like I was pretty darn close to just writing my own software.
Yeah.
If we crack this code, I was like, well, now I need to go sell software.
That's what I'm doing. Like, what we've been talking about is like the whole, call. We're taking transcripts. We're transcribing. We're taking calls. So we have, depending on where the lead source, right, or the call source. But like right now, we're taking transcripts, and we're scoring it based off our system, and then we're recording that into a database so that we can track in real time, how good the sales rep was in setting expectations, controlling the conversation, keeping them emotional versus logic, getting emotional buy-in, creating certainty. Are we demonstrating empathy? Are we being assertive versus aggressive? Like we're tracking that right now in real time, and we're pouring all that into a database, and we're using it internally, and then we release that to a few of our clients. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
With AI.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that any sales team that's not using our service in like 3 months is gonna be a lot of trouble because they're gonna be going against a lot of sales teams with AI assistance.
Yeah.
And I think with yours, Hello Pro, you could do the same exact thing, just have like Gemini Pro 2.5, like what I'm seeing here. It just observes reality and is like doing things with it.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You could just have it just watching these channels and just report in real time what's actually happening. You don't have to wait for the stations.
Yep.
And you can probably charge everyone that's paying for TV just a few $100s a month. Or if nothing else, that's a competitive advantage for using Hello Pro.
Correct. Yeah. I feel like we have a robust model given the antiquated systems that exist. I'm continually working to improve the effectiveness of our product and solutions. It is an old industry. I mean, we're talking like rabbit ears, like TV state. I mean, like old school, obscure kind of stuff. Like most of the people that have remained in the business, like kind of dinosaurs of the industry. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like
that's just
they didn't jump into the digital space when that came around 15, 20 years ago. Like they didn't make the leap, and they're not going to make the leap now. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
Because it's not only just on our end, what we're doing, back to kind of the KPI conversation, like, okay, fine, here's the data. Like, well, what are you going to do about it? And how are you going to go do that?
Yeah.
And that's, we're still confined in a lot of ways to the industry itself. As much as I'd love to be a change advocate for the TV industry, I am like small potatoes in the TV space. Like, it's difficult for us to compete even at ad spend levels. For most real estate investors, they're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the market to get started, and it's difficult at those levels to honestly to be competitive with the big dogs who are spending money like left and right. Chevys, the Pepsi, they're doing branding. They're not trying to get like immediate revenue today. They're doing things that are going to pay off well into the future.
Right.
But that's the competition on TV. So there's a little bit of a sweet spot of finding the right market, finding the right programming, so it is efficient. And so, man, we bust our tail to make that happen.
Yeah. So you're taking all the same philosophies with the KPIs, the data, making decisions with data.
To me, there's no other way.
Yeah.
You have to. Otherwise, you're just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to sell a solution of just guessing.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't sit right.
How long do you go between creatives, right? Because we're talking about sharing a story. So like, go with the flower guy example, right? His family's been in there for 80 years or so.
Yeah.
So they got a brand. So we crafted a story. How long do you run with that story before we say this one's, or that creative, like this is working? Or like, hey, we thought this was going to work, but it's not.
Yeah. I mean, general rule of thumb is once you see diminishing returns, then let's refresh it. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. Still works in this space too. We're not trying to do very, very, very fancy gigs and gimmicks and that type of stuff. It's a pretty straightforward message. And honestly, you're working with people who are probably falling on hard times. So doing anything that's gimmicky or over the top production value wise, it's not gonna land well.
The used car sales guy screaming at the TV in a chicken suit. We're not gonna do that.
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, picture you just lost your parents and inherited their house. Is the chicken suit gonna motivate you to call those people, or the guy that's kind of standing there going, "Hey, we can provide a real honest solution for you. I've been a member of this community for 20 years. I really take care of people that want to work with us. I want to work with that guy.
Yeah.
He's going to understand my circumstances. He gets it. It's not a charade."
Yeah.
So how long do you want to run an ad creative for? Well, the broad rule of thumb is until it's not working, but we'll see when it starts to trail off, right?
Yeah.
I do routine meetings with all my clients to keep a pulse on that. We're monitoring on the back end as well. But I had a meeting as I was starting to shape this agency with a guy, very high level production. So picture like infomercial, 30 to 60 minute, a lot of production, like cooking appliances, George Foreman grills, spill something on the carpet and look at this magic vacuum. It pulls it all right out. Like pretty high production value stuff. Now we're not doing that. But I had a really interesting meeting with him. He got a lot of awards. Like, people kind of put their awards in the background of their Zoom meeting, like in background of their camera, right? He had award after award after award up there for production value. And I was like, well, like, here's kind of the space that we're in. Like, how do he gave me some exorbitant price to produce ads. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, thank you. Like, we don't have the budget for like a $50,000 ad. Like, that's somebody's annual budget for all of the ad spend. Like, and I still got to buy the spots too.
Yeah.
Producing a 50K spot, like, holy moly. Like, this isn't going to work. But like, let me just pick your brain. Like, we're here anyway. Like, what is a good run length? He's like, well, the longest that we ever had was 3 years. And there's a lot of people out there that have been running ads for way longer than 3 years. And is it that we know more, or this guy who's got a whole bookshelf full of awards? Which one knows more about ad creative?
Yeah.
I promise you that guy knows a lot more about it. So it's something that we're monitoring. And so that's kind of always stayed in the back of my head of keep it fresh, keep it relevant, but keep the message and branding the same. And that way you don't lose the momentum that you have.
And then you have a case study. Someone has got a 4X ROI.
We've got a handful of case studies. 4 to 5X ROI, I would say, is good for a good quality operator. A lot of people come in engaging in a sales call. They go, well, what's my ROI going to be? I go, what's your exit strategy?
Yeah.
And for somebody who can only wholesale, you should be pretty content with a 2 to 3X ROI in today's climate. Hedge funds really not buying a whole lot of anything anymore. Certainly if they are buying, it's not at the prices they were buying before.
Oh, definitely not.
I don't know many just straight up wholesalers that are doing a lot better than 2 to 3X. And if you are, hats off to you because you have your stuff dialed in. But if you know how to flip properties, if you're adding to your rental portfolio and you capture that equity in your revenue, if you can do sub twos, if you can wholesale sub-twos, if you can do novation, you know how to do wholetail, right? You've got a deep toolbox of dispo strategies. That 4 to 5x ROI is very tangible. And as much as I'd love to be able to get people there on month one, sometimes it does take a little bit of time. But we've had clients change ad agencies, and we are able to get them much better ROI. And I just attribute that to we just have a different perspective on how we operate. We're in it for the long term. We measure our results. I've got 2 ace media buyers on my team with decades of experience, like back to this like archaic industry. Like kind of have to know like when to call the right people and how to ask for the right things to make stuff happen for you. And we're bringing in clients too that tried to do it themselves. We're getting 25% better rates than they are. And so for me, it's just chalking up those wins along the way, and it's super gratifying.
What are the things that, like, for someone that, is trying on their own, like, what are some of those mistakes where they realize, okay, we just got to use Luke?
If you're frustrated with your TV results or the agency model, like my agency model is very different. I work direct with the clients all day, every day. Will that always be the case? Will everybody be as fortunate to have one-on-one time with somebody who's been in their shoes? Probably not. But today, that's the case. We've got excellent media buyers on my team, and our billing is direct. We facilitate everything in-house. So if you have a question about anything, you want anything done different, like, absolutely. I want you to be a client for not just today or next month or the month after that, but like for years.
Yeah.
We can grow people's TV ad spend levels to incredible heights. And I don't say that in that, well, great, then we get more revenue. I say that because they're getting an excellent return on that. They're not going to continue to invest in it if they're not getting great returns. We can grow their business and honestly change the trajectory of their life and their family. So if you're frustrated with the results, if you're curious about TV, if you want a new marketing channel, I'll just throw this out there. If you're in a small market and nobody is doing TV, freaking run to TV advertising.
Yeah.
You will crush it. You will have so much reach, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Or not that much ad spend.
So you're saying you're not like the other ad agencies. Your model's different. How is your model different?
Yeah. The one-on-one direct relationship is first and foremost, one, important to me. I want to maintain that direct relationship. All of our billing is direct. So there's Hello Pro and there's Hello Pro. That's it. So the buck stops here. And I did that for pure accountability. If we're not adding value, what are we doing? The other biggest thing too is on the measurement side, the data side. We will get to a point where we have substantial amounts of data that is untouchable.
Yeah. And
that is an incredible asset in and of itself. And we're growing that. And it's important to realize that there's a lot of momentum and value that comes along with that as a new client, as an existing client. I was talking to actually a client. He was asking me, what PPC provider should I use? I was like, well, talk to these guys. And a couple of weeks later, we met again. He's like, I chose to use these other guys because I kind of got a weird feeling that there might be some competitors using that agency in my area, and they wouldn't really tell me if they were in my area or not. I was like, why wouldn't you use them? Why wouldn't you go with a competitor who already has years of data from a competitor, and they're going to put you ahead of them, or at least in an equal playing field day one, versus starting from scratch with somebody who hasn't played in that marketplace before. They don't know the words or the budget allocations, the bid strategy. I'm not a PPC guru, so I'm probably way over my skis here.
Sure.
But it's important to understand, like, there actually is a leg up in having that data and being kind of a part of that competitive collective group that's just moving the needle in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's one thing that's really critical in marketing, you've hit it over and over again, is data. People that are watching the show know I used to handle my own PPC, used to handle all my own marketing. And actually was handling my own marketing again until I finally outsourced again because I got tired of creating new creatives on Facebook. but having that engineering background, you like to look at data. You're not allergic to spreadsheets.
I am not allergic to spreadsheets.
Right? Because most business owners, they hate spreadsheets, right? But like for me, it's like, okay, well, we put in X dollars over here. We got Y dollars over here. Okay, like how can we put more dollars into X? How many times can we put money into X, right?
And how many times are those the high quality operators? Like you mentioned Jason Lewis earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he thinks similarly.
Yeah.
Right. Where you remove emotion out of all decisions
Mm-hmm.
and you just look at it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
How hard can I push this thing until something breaks?
Right.
And I think about a lot of other high quality operators. They think similarly, whether they're of a engineering background or not. Like those fundamentals of just being break things down in the simplest format and go for it.
Right.
Tell me why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If someone wanted to get involved with Hello Pro, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah. So the easiest way is just go to my website, go to thehellopro.com, and you can book a call with me straight off the website. You can engage in social media, hellopro.tv on Instagram. You can also friend me on Facebook, Luke Winter.
Yeah, gotcha. So right now, with everything you got going on, what is your biggest struggle today?
My biggest struggle today is honestly finding the right balance of growing the startup business and still doing the things that I want to do
Mm-hmm.
with my family and experience in life. We've got 2 young kids. I've got a great wife. We love spending time together. We love traveling. Business is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
New business ventures that are going well are exciting.
Yeah.
Helping my clients win is really exciting and can be distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's not the most important thing, but none of us are getting out of here alive.
Mm-hmm.
And, it really hit home at the last boardroom meeting when we heard Ed Milet speak. It is, who are you doing this for? And why aren't you doing those things for them today?
Mm-hmm.
You say the business is for your family. Why are you missing dinners?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't miss family dinners.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to us. And so it's finding that right balance that's difficult. Because, man, I freaking love this business.
Yeah.
Like, I love helping my clients. I love helping people. I just love being a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still finding the right time to network
Mm-hmm.
outside of business to nurture relationships with family and make sure that they're getting what they need from me as a husband and father.
Yeah, it totally resonates with me. Like, I was talking to someone earlier. I was coaching someone else, and I was looking at we were talking about hustle season and this and that, and I was looking on the bottom right. I was like, I told my wife, in 22, things got a little hard, right? Especially in Phoenix. And we're saying to her, hey, you know what? I'm gonna have to hustle and grind for the next few months while we put this together, right? Get this all back. Looking down, I was like, it's been 3 years since I got to hustle and grind for a few months.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we never miss dinners because that is a non-negotiable.
Yep.
But man, working weekends, working evenings, trying to make this all work, it is a real struggle. What do you want to be remembered for?
Hey, my name is Brian. I'm a real estate investor. Ian's sales training has helped me buy more houses at a deeper discount. Most recently, Ian helped me reframe a question which resulted in me buying a house for less money than other offers the seller had on the table. If you're considering sales training, I don't think you can go wrong with Ian's.
I'm filming this video for the man himself, Mr. Ian Ross. The guy crushes. The guy's the best person in sales I've ever seen. I've invested elsewhere and I haven't got the same results. I've gone from being a seller, making 5K a month, to being a hybrid role, making 11K a month, to now be 4 months down the line from 5K to on a closing opportunity, inbound, full calendar, with the best opportunity, the best offer in my space. OTE is around 20K a month from month 2. So I've gone from 5K to 20K. If that's not a return on your investment, I don't know what is, man. If you're a salesperson and you don't invest in sales training, you're going to get left behind because your job is to be better at sales. And sales training directly makes you more money.
If you like what you just heard and you'd like to have similar types of results, similar success, text CLOSE, CLOSE, to 33777, and we'll see if you qualify to join Advanced Sales Mastery. We are taking people from good to great.
I want to be remembered for somebody who cared, somebody who tried their most. And I think for me, getting slightly emotional because it's important. For me, my life really changed significantly when I had kids, and life is about the kids, and giving them the biggest opportunity in their lives, giving them the best lessons, the best education possible. And it's important for me to give that to them. And I feel like my parents did that for me. And so for me, it's trying to ensure I'm a good dad, I'm a good husband, and I'm giving my everything to everybody in my life. I don't want somebody to go, oh, he didn't try that hard, or he had this opportunity and boy did he squander that. I don't want that. I've taken a kin to really focusing on my health, my fitness, and for me, those are those things that are going to help prolong the story and help make me better from end to end. And so for me to be remembered as somebody who cared, somebody who tried, and somebody who helped grow a great family, grow great businesses. Like I said, I want those stories when it is the end, like wow, those were some good stories.
I admire that. It reminds me a lot. I mean, Tim Harris was in the seat just a few weeks ago, right? And it was the same thing. Like the guy just wins belts after belt after belt. Right?
Yeah.
He got like a heavy chain from Family Mastermind. He's always recognized at the boardroom. Like what? Like why? Why does this happen? He's like, I'm just so passionate.
Yeah.
About helping everyone around me. So it's awesome. What is your superpower?
If it's not obvious by now, man, like the systems, the metrics, that stuff like just happens in my sleep. Like I just wake up and I go, hey, this is what we have to measure. This is how we're going to do it. That is my absolute God-given gift.
Was that before working in oil and gas?
That's a good question. I think that really helped funnel some of that ability into productive activities. I don't know where I would be if that wasn't it. Like I went to school for engineering to be in like the car industry because I thought it was really freaking cool. So like
went to engineering school to get in the car industry.
Yeah, which the car industry was garbage in 2008 and 2009. Like I had offers rescinded during that time period, and I was like, well, I guess that dream is now crushed.
What dream job were you getting rescinded?
Man, I had visions of test driving Corvettes around a racetrack. I know that's like an impossible job to get because like everybody dreams of that. And the pay is probably like zero. But like picture a 17, 18-year-old kid going like, well, what's the career path that you want to do? You're like, man, I just want to drive some cool cars and go fast and like live life.
Yeah.
Like that was a lot of motivation for me that like got me into like the engineering space. And engineering kind of turned into just being a good problem solver. Being a good problem solver turned into solving business problems. And that was just kind of the evolution.
Yeah. So this question, because you're a planner, it might not land anywhere, but which failure did you learn the most from?
Oh. Man, for me, I don't want to sound like I'm on some high pedestal because I've had plenty of failures. Like I am by no means perfect, but I have avoided most catastrophic risks by any measure. I was foolish enough to self-manage my 6-unit apartment building for like 5 years. I would actually attribute a lot of my gray hair to that. If I would have just gotten out of my own way, I wouldn't consider it a failure, but just the opportunity cost of that time was significant.
Yeah.
And I was doing the showings for tenants. I was coordinating contractors. I was making sure I wasn't getting ripped off. And by the time I actually had enough sense in me to hire a property manager, I was like, okay, do a cash out refi. I've got a ton of equity here. I have to start lending this out because now I have more cash and that's the problem. Like, I should have been focusing on this stuff like 3 years ago. I should have done the cash out refi. Should have used that to springboard into more investments or lending. Like, where could I have been? It's not necessarily like a crash and burn on fire failure, but the lost opportunity in that time. Granted, I did learn some things. Like, I think I could have been much further ahead. So in the opportunity cost, that was probably the biggest dent.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's so many like ridiculous stories about tenants. I had a guy, he was a fixture of the building. He had lived there for beyond 20 years when I bought the building and stayed there for at least 4 years when I was when I owned the building. I'd go down there, try and make improvements, make the place nice. And he'd give me a call. You cut down my marigolds. I'm like, God, come on, man. Like, I'm just trying to make this place nice. I realized, like, they're probably your marigolds, but they're mine. And they were overgrowing, like, all of the sidewalks all around the building. We got to make this place a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're trying to do, but okay, fine. And one day, this was when I knew I needed a property manager. Like, I was like, it's finally time. I get a call from the police. And they go, we need to do a wellness check on unit number 1. The same guy, fixture of the building. I knew he was in poor health. And I was like, okay, what do you guys need? They're like, well, we want you to come down and open the door. Otherwise, we're going to have to break it down. And I was like, man, I don't need to see a dead body today.
Yeah.
That is not what I need today. I'm not going to open the door. Like, you guys go right ahead. You break down that door, figure out what's going on inside. But I ain't seeing a dead body. That is not happening. Like, that's the line. They broke down that door, and R.I.P. to old man Richard. He was a good tenant, but he was deceased in the unit. Yeah. And that was the day I was like, we're handing over the keys to a property manager. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah. That's good. That's I've said countless times, in all the years buying real estate, like, I've seen everything you possibly see except for a dead human body. I've seen dead animals, cats, whatever. Yep. Right. Plenty of rats. Yep. But still managed to avoid human body.
Yeah. Let's knock on wood for that one.
Yeah.
Hope to never cross that bridge.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate part of life. But yeah, it's just something that if you can, let's just keep our spirits high and focus on the good things.
I did have on video footage a realtor taking a dump in my backyard in my last flip.
Oh no! Oh no!
I got the footage of that. But
oh no!
That was not ideal. It's like, you get a message from your team like, "Hey, so this happened." Like, no, like you're like I'm having lunch with somebody. It's like, no, you're kidding. Like, that's not a real thing. It's like, nope. It's like, send me the footage, and they send me the footage. Like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, that's one. You've got a better stomach than me, because I'd say I don't need to see that video.
I just didn't believe him.
Yeah.
I just didn't believe him.
You thought you were getting pranked.
It's pretty crazy, right?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
What book have you gifted more than any other?
I'm more of an audiobook guy. I recommend, this is maybe a little bit off the beaten path. I think you're a Ray Dalio guy.
I like Ray Dalio, yeah.
So what I point a lot of people towards is principles. Because I think no matter what business you're in, what season of life you're in, it is incredibly durable and applicable. And that's what principles should be. Yeah. Principles should be things that stand the test of time. It's like gravity. It's real. You can test it and you can prove it, and it's never going away. Yeah. That's the same thing with principles. There's parts of that I think about, and there's not one specific tactical thing that you go, this is it. This is the golden nugget out of principles. But you go, this is why I'm thinking about things wrong. This is why I have my organization set up wrong. He is one of the great minds in America. Yeah. One of the greats. He understands market dynamics probably better than anybody in the world. Right. And to be able to get as concise of points out of it as he has in there is good. I mean, that's basically the bullet point level. Like,
Yeah.
he basically tells you, read the book and then just read the bullet points. And like, keep that around your desk. You're like, oh, that's brilliant. Most people just write books to be like a long book, or they have a ghostwriter or whatever it is, you know? It's like, okay, this is kind of principles of life and business in like a bullet format. It's rememberable. You can take it with you, revisit it. So I just really like that one. It also resonates well with a lot of the things that I learned working in Coke Industries. It was very principle based. We're not going to give you the rules, but we're going to tell you, kind of the general parameters that we like to see things done in. For the catastrophic things, there will be rules. There will be speed limits, but in general, there's not.
Yeah.
And that allows for quicker innovation and more efficient operations. And for me, that's one that I point a lot of people to. It's not real estate specific, but man,
great.
Is it one that I think about a lot?
I should go through it again. The one thing that stuck out for me that I've been really hardcore on is you can learn a lot about a person if you just have them take multiple assessments. And that has been true a lot more than has not been true. Right? Making hiring decisions, non-negotiable with personalities. Now, look, we're going to miss some good people. We're going to miss some good people that didn't fit personality assessments. But man, how many people didn't fit and we hired them and it didn't work out? Whereas people that fit, that did work out, the greatest predictor of success. We can gamble with someone that doesn't fit, or we can what's the word? Mitigate our downside.
Yeah. It's a game of probabilities. There are no certainties. There's no certain hire. There's no certain house to flip. Like, you might think you're close to certain, but it is not 100% ever.
Right.
And I think Tom Brady, for better or for worse, his broadcasting sheds a light on how he looked at the game. And he thinks about the game in probabilities. He's like, that was a 95% pass that was overlooked by this rookie quarterback. He's going for the 10% moonshot, like touchdown, celebrate, like highlight reel type passes. He's not thinking about the game in the right way. He needs these high probability passes. Sure, maybe you take those shots when the defense is sleeping, but he thought about the game of like, where's the highest chance of success? And you just need to tip the scales in your favor in every aspect of business. And I probably mentioned it a couple times, but business is a series of bets. You're placing a bet on a new hire. You're placing a bet on a house, on a new marketing channel. And just like the casino, but you're tipping the odds in your favor in every one of those bets.
Right.
And you should be. You should be using the tools at your disposal to push those odds as far into your favor as possible and make those bets as close to success as you can, where the risk is much, much, much lower than the reward.
Yep. I want you to think about some last thoughts I'm going to leave all the listeners with. Guys, if you get value today, please, again, hit that subscribe button. Please share this with somebody that needs to hear this. Again, that way we can all grow together. What are the last thoughts you want to leave all the listeners with?
Yeah, last thoughts. Keep pushing. If you're in real estate investing, I'd love to work with you on the TV advertising side. It can do great things for your business. It's got to be the right timing, though, and we can talk about what that right timing looks like if you reach out to us through the website. But I just want to be a part of everybody's success and just want to see people win. So, keep pushing, keep driving. It is not easy, but keep on trucking. And you got a lot of cheerleaders behind you. Me, even if we haven't met, like, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, it's great. How can, again, someone connect with you?
Yeah, so go to my website, thehellopro.com. Check out my Instagram, hellopro.tv, or look me up on Facebook, Luke Winter.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.
Jump on the Steve Trang. Disruptors.